says no. Well, first, I just wanted to take this opportunity to welcome everybody here. Can everybody hear me okay? Not too loud? Good? Okay. This is the first time I've ever done anything for the senior center at this scale, so I'm a little bit nervous, so bear with me if I ramble a little bit. Thankfully, I have a great team behind me, like all my family's here, and a lot of marketers in the area that helped me a lot at the senior center, so they were able to put my mind at ease. So I really appreciate that. I've never been a part, or honestly never even heard of a celebration for a county for somebody that's 90 and over, and I think it's just an awesome idea. And when I learned about it, I was super excited to be a part of it. First, I'll introduce myself. My name is Dawna Pryor. I just moved here from Dallas last May. I was in the customer service field for 82 billion years. I always did all the special events for the store. I'm a long-time Pryor employee. 17 years to be exact, and then my husband and I paid our house off. We were in the house for 30 years and never for a second thought we would sell it after we redid it and move out to Dyke in the woods, which is where we are now. But you know, stuff changes. My in-laws are out there on the property. They've been out there for 20-something years, and they're starting to get up there in age, and my husband really wanted to be down here with his dad. So at the time, the housing market was fantastic, and people were banging down our door to buy our house. So for about a year, I said, no way. And then all of a sudden, one day, I just said, okay, how much? And it was fabulous. So, I mean, so we sold our house and moved to the country and started all over again out in the middle of nowhere. So for a little bit, I wasn't sure if I made the right decision. I'm not a real big person on change. I like secure, stable kind of stuff. But if any of you have ever had one of those moments in your life where you're lucky enough to have one of those moments in your life, I should say, where you go, this is why I'm here. I was supposed to be here. I was supposed to sell my house. I was supposed to clean out 30 years worth of stuff and come down here and start over again. And I'll share that with you, and it might make me tear up a little bit, but when I first came to take over the position, as most of you know, it was kind of a rocky start. I had some like giant shoes to fill, and I was scared that I wasn't going to be able to fill them, and I'm sure in some people's eyes I haven't, and I don't know that I will, since she had like 20 years on me. But she's been very helpful, which is a very kind thing to do for her, to make sure I take care of you guys the right way. After a little while, people started to realize that, you know, I guess that new lady's not quite so bad. It was just a rough start. Everybody doesn't like change, so. One day, I have been trying to put new activities on the calendar, and one day I put Jim Rummy on just to see if I could get somebody to come and play. And nobody did, because it was in the afternoon, and nobody likes to come to the senior center once they go home. You know, everybody's there for bingo, but then they're done. But I was sitting at my desk, and nobody showed up for Jim Rummy, and a lady walked in, didn't know her, and she said, I'm here to play Jim Rummy. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, nobody else came to play today. And she was, oh. And I said, oh, you haven't been here before, have you? And she said, no. And I said, well, let me walk around and I'll show you about all the stuff you do or whatever. And then I'm thinking she was going to be happy with that, and then she was just going to, you know, go on about her day. So I went and sat down at my desk, and I was always doing like 82 things at the same time, trying to make sure everything gets done there. And she stopped by my desk and she said, do you want to play Jim Rummy with me? Will you play a hand with me? And I go, sure. So I put my stuff down and I went out there and I got the cards out. And first thing I learned, I was born and raised in Western New York, but we don't play Jim Rummy the same here that y'all do. So she had to teach me the right way to play gin rummy. And just chit-chatting back and forth, and all of a sudden she got quiet and she said, this is the first time in months that I put on my shoes and walked into a building someplace by myself. And I said, oh, what do you mean? I was thinking COVID or something like that. And then she gets emotional and tells me that she just lost her partner of like 40-something years, and that she's been in a real bad way, and she hasn't even been able to get dressed and leave her house. And that was the first day that she actually said that today's the first day I put my shoes on and walked into a building alone. And you were sitting here and you took your time to come and play gin rummy with me, and it meant a lot to me. Anyway, that lady's super sweet. And she doesn't come often, but I call her every once in a while and go, hi, come join us. You know, and now I feel like I have like this lifelong friend that I made, and that was my moment. That was my moment where I'm like, I was supposed to be here right now. Nobody else was supposed to show up for gin rummy that day. And I was supposed to be the person that was sitting right here so that she could come in and talk to me. Anyway, that was my moment. So, ever since then, I've changed my attitude, and I quit trying to like fit into somebody else's mold, and I just started being more myself, and being creative, and trying new things, and our numbers are growing, finally, and I would really welcome all of y'all to come out to the Senior Center sometime. Up here, I do have some calendars for April. So if you'd like to grab one. While I'm pointing at stuff down here, we have a big beauty pageant coming up in June. So I really encourage any of you ladies, if you ever thought about being in a beauty pageant, let me know. I have some applications here. It's going to be a blast. All you got to have is a fancy dress and do a talent for 2.5 minutes. You don't have to sing or dance. You can just read. You can tell a story, you can tell jokes, whatever, juggle, whatever you do. But I have those applications here. And then I'll talk about Amanda from Meal a Day. I don't know how many of you guys get Meal a Day here, but we have a new director for Meal a Day as well. Her name's Amanda, and she's super sweet, and she's also doing an outstanding job. But if anybody is in need of going on the Meal a Day program, I have an application for that. And she is always looking for volunteers. So if any of you guys have a morning, we don't have anything going on once a week or something, come in and help them in the kitchen or maybe make deliveries. If that's something that you would like to do, just give us a call at the center and I'll get you in touch with Miss Amanda, and she would love to have your help. The next thing I want to do is kind of introduce the people that are here. Timothy, will you ask them to just come to the door for a second? Everybody back there? Tammy, too, and Wendy, just for 1 second. I don't want you guys to think I'm like magical or something, because I have a whole team of people here to help me. We have a lot of new classes at the Senior Center. A couple of the biggest ones are a class called Tech Talk that we've started, and that helps seniors learn about technology. So far, we taught each other how to text each other. They can take pictures and send each other pictures. It's actually my youngest is the teacher of the class, and they love it. Sometimes it's setting up a new phone for somebody. Sometimes it's setting up their voicemail, or going, how do I get rid of this? Or why is this on my phone? And we do that every other Wednesday at 1. And then on Friday, we have a new class called Functional Fitness. We already have the morning fitness class with John Little, which is excellent. But on Fridays now, we have an afternoon class at 1, and that's with Miss Kristen. She donates her time for Anytime Fitness and comes over and does it. It's a little bit different, maybe a little more edgy, but you can still do it all sitting. We also have a gardening club, a genealogy class, and then we just started a new class that's going to start today. It's called What Helps Me. Because in your conversations senior center, you realize, oh, this one used to teach blah, 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 or this one is a makeup artist all her life, and this one was this. So we're going to have different topics every month. And May, the first one is going to be me, and I'm going to lead that one, and I'm going to talk about eating sugar-free. So we're just going to have different topics every month. We also have a watercolors class. The Sulphur Springs Middle School art class, Ms. Jordan's class comes once a month, and we do a watercolor class. We have line dancing. We have a free blood pressure clinic. We have free Medicare assistance. We play 42 twice a week. And we have a puzzle place. So if you're just in town and you're like waiting for an appointment or you're just bored, come on in. We always have a puzzle started in the corner. Come in, make me a cup of coffee, have a seat, there's music in there, turn the music on, with that puzzle. And then the other last thing before we get started is I just wanted to talk about how excited we are about our new building. I know all you guys know about it. You guys probably expect to work every time you drive by it like I do, like, come on guys, get busy. So hopefully this will be the last time that we ever have to rent out a space to have one of these events, and we'll be able to have it in our new building, and we are super, super, super excited about that. But anyways, let me get in here. All right, so I just wanted to kind of like point out the people that are helping today real quick. Of course, the city, because I'm actually a city employee, so Sulphur Springs, And then special thanks today, my husband, who's wheeling that cart around right there, Jeff Pryor, and Carlos and the ROC, of course, he got me all set up for today, and Miss Pam, who is here somewhere, that works for the ROC. My youngest, Evan, who's way back there. My sister, Tammy Rankin, she came in from Arkansas. She's the one that's been making the rice. She looks just like me. She's running around here somewhere. And my sister-in-law, Wendy Marshall, she lives here in town. She might look familiar to some of y'all. And then we have Miss Rochelle. Where's Rochelle? There she is. Miss Rochelle works for True Hearts and Hands Hospice. She's got a little photo booth set up over here, and she helps me a lot at the senior center. And I have Miss Libby here from Family First. There she is right there. Miss Libby helps us a lot. She calls bingo for us, and she helps with special events, and she brought her own little helpers today, so we appreciate that. Let's see. We did have another helper here, but I think she had an appointment. Miss Leslie. I don't know if any of you guys know Leslie Moat. She's like the sweetest person. She used to be a mailman that just retired. A male person. Mail carrier. There you go. And then, of course, Miss Kathy Steele. Where's Kathy?
She's up here making teas.
All right, Miss Kathy Steele. You guys probably already know Kathy, but Kathy has helped me so much. She's the one that filled in during the rough patch last year before I came, and she's my go-to person if I have any questions. And she works for Meal a Day, and she's retired, but she volunteers at Meal a Day, but she helps me a lot. And then also I have a new friend in the back, Chris. Raise your hand, Chris. Chris is from Walmart Insurance Services, and recently they just started this division of Walmart, and they have really stepped up to help a lot with our events this year. So you guys will be seeing Chris a lot in a lot of our events. So we really appreciate Chris, and he's a big sponsor today. Our sponsors also, Dawn Wallows. They're the ones that made the tacos for y'all today. United Healthcare, Saputo, Farmers Co-op, Farmers Electric Co-op, Walmart, and Grocery Supply. They're all the different sponsors that are helping put this thing together today. So once I get that out of the way, let's see here. All right, I would like to call up here on stage a gentleman. Honestly, I've only met him a couple times, but you guys probably recognize him. It's Dr. Harold B. Nash, Sr. He's the pastor of Morning Chapel Mission Baptist Church. He's also a city councilman in place 2. He's going to come up here and he's going to talk to us a little bit about Clara Bridges and why this is an event to start with. He actually used to pastor Clara Bridges. And then he's going to go ahead and bless our food too. So let's call up Dr. Nash.
Good afternoon, everyone. She told me I could speak 30 minutes, and the only, in my church don't like 30 minutes. I just want to say a few words about Mother Bridges. We call her Mother Bridges. She was the mother of our church. Because if I spoke any time, I could speak all day long concerning her. So just these few words, I see this. Some members of her family are here. First of all, she loved God. She loved God with all of her heart, with all her soul, with all her mind, all of her strength. She loved God. She loved her family. And she loved her church. And she loved all people. She was a faithful woman, a faithful mother, a faithful friend. She was faithful to the church and faithful to the community. Her legacy continues in this community and in this city, as is this program. It was East Katy Missionary Baptist Church and Dr. Loretta Hendricks who started the program before I came as pastor of Morning Chapel 26 years ago. I was born and raised in Salt Springs, Texas, and lived in Dallas for 36 years. Returned bivocationally for 10 years and then retired and took on the pastorship of Morning Chapel. There, Sister Clara Bridges, Mother Bridges, was my anchor, my support, my counselor, my friend, my second mother. She had this blessed gift from God to encourage young people in the community, young women especially, but also young men. When they would say to her, we would say to you and I, would say to her, "You're such a blessing, I hope I could ever be like you." She would say, "I have not always been this way." She would let you know that she lived life and everything went always like it was as she became mature, not only as an adult, but mature in Christ. She had this wise statement that she made. She said to the people who she was counseling, the people who she was in discussion with, we talked about her age, and she was she would say, "If you don't live as long as I have lived, then something else will happen." Y'all hear that a while. What she's saying is, if you don't live to get old, you're going to die. So I'm so grateful for this privilege, this opportunity to stand before you and recognize and remember Mother Bridges, Sister Clara Bridges. But also, I want to thank God for all of you. You are the anchor for all of us. And now I'm a part of it. I'm not yet. Not yet. But when my youth look at me, they say he's old. But I thank God that I've lived as long as I have. And I pray. I hope you will pray for us, for me, that I too will become of the age where I can celebrate in this time where we remember and thank God. Thank God for our seniors. For you are the anchor, you are our wisdom, you are our guide. And I thank God for you. God bless you and may keep all of you, in the name of Jesus. And Father, I do pray, and thank you, Lord, for this event. I thank you for the leadership. I thank you for all that you've done in this city with the citizens of the city, oh God. I pray that you will continue to bless them with health, oh God, and everything that they need according to your will, because your will is the best for all of us. I pray and thank you for this occasion, and pray and thank you for those who prepared this food and those who are sponsors of this event. And pray, oh God, that you now will bless this food that it may nourish our bodies. For I pray and thank you for it in Jesus' precious name. Amen. Amen. God bless you all.
Well, that was lovely. I didn't feel right speaking on Clara Bridges because I never had the pleasure, but I actually met Dr. Nash at the groundbreaking, and I was asking John, who you're going to meet here in a second if you don't know him already. He said, she need to talk to him. He used to be her pastor, so I'm right over there. So I appreciate you taking time out of your day coming up here and doing that. So help yourself. Has everybody got their food? I think we're almost there, so you guys feel free to start eating if you got your food. Dr. Nash, Pastor Nash said his prayer, so we're good now. You go ahead and start eating. But in the meantime, I'm going to call up Mr. Sellers. You guys might be familiar with John Sellers. He's Mayor Pro Tem of the city, former mayor, and is also the marketing director of CNB. I always want to say CNB Bank, but the B is Bank, so. City National Bank. But John's going to come up here and talk to us a little bit about how important this community is to the big picture of the community of Sulphur Springs. Come on up, John, Mr. Sellers.
Good afternoon. To be with you today. It is, and Reverend Nash sharing his personal knowledge of Miss Bridges and blessing our food is very important. I want to share a poem with you that speaks of the way that we feel and we need to feel toward our senior citizens, and to give you a little uplifting, and then I will share with you some of my thoughts. And of course, if you know much about me, I am a historian, and so I'm going to share a little history with you also.
Yes, sir.
Comfort on difficult days, smiles when sadness intrudes, rainbows to follow the clouds, laughter to kiss your lips, sunsets to warm your heart, hugs when your spirits sag, beauty for your eyes to see, friendships to brighten your being, faith so you can believe, confidence for when you doubt, courage to know yourself, patience to accept the truth, and love to complete your life. My name is John Sellers. I am a native of Sulphur Springs and Hopkins County. I grew up here, went to high school here, graduated from here, went to university. I went to Texas Tech University, graduated, decided I wasn't going to come back to Sulphur Springs. I was going to go to Dallas and live in the big city. And I lived over there for about 11 years in advertising. But during that time, I started pursuing I always loved history. And I decided that I wanted to pursue more about history. And I thought, what is the most important thing is to learn about the history of your family and your community. And I decided I wanted to come back and teach school, teach history. So I came back to Sulphur Springs, and because I already had a degree, I just had to take a certain amount of courses, and we have a wonderful university, 18 miles from here, that has its history in educating teachers. So I went to East Texas State University, which is now Texas A&M in Commerce, and got my teacher's certificate. And then I got the privilege of teaching in one of our rural schools for 4 years, Como-Picton, and was able to teach history and government, and thoroughly enjoyed it. And I will have respect for the rest of my life for the teaching profession for just those 4 years that I taught. But life changed for me, and I pursued other careers, and I have now been at City National Bank for 17 years, and it's over their marketing and PR, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've been on our city council for 12 years, about to start my 5th term. I have been mayor at 6 different years, and I really enjoyed that. And currently, I'm mayor pro tem. A little bit about my family background and respecting and knowing that it is so important that we honor our seniors. I am the son of Charles Sellers and Billy Faye Baby Sellers, who both unfortunately now have left this earth, but they both lived long and useful lives. My mother was 87, my father was 92, so he would have qualified for this wonderful banquet. And then I was very fortunate to also have a maternal grandmother that I knew quite well that lived to the age of 99. And I also knew her parents, my great-grandparents, who were early building contractor in Sulphur Springs by the name of P.F. Brady and his wife, Ella Robinson Brady, who lived to be 91 and 94 respectively. And I had the honor to know them. So I have some longevity in my family, and I just hope I take care of that and get that same honor. As you start to enter your 60s, you pay a lot closer attention to those years ahead of you and thinking about how you need to take care of yourself and to enjoy life in the fullest. But I have so much respect for the older generation and what you've endured and what you've been through. I was thinking, for you to be 90 at least, that means you were born in 1933 or prior. So I decided I would look up and see what the United States and what was going on in 1933 and what things cost. Now, of course, if you're only 90 now, you probably don't remember 1933, but you remember pretty soon after that. But if you're older than 90, this might be in your memory. But an average cost of a new house in 1933 was $5,750. A little different now. Average wages per year, though, were $1,550. Average monthly rent, $18. Average laborer's wage was $20 per week. A Plymouth 6-car cost $444. Cost of gas, y'all listen. We know what we're doing right now with gas. In 1933, gas cost you 10 cents a gallon. A loaf of bread, 7 cents. A pound of hamburger, 11 cents. A vacuum cleaner, brand new, $17.75. A lady's hat in a store, $1.69. Silk and rayon stockings, we don't believe we see those much anymore, were 39 cents a pair. Health Building Tonic, I wonder exactly what that was 89 cents. Campbell's Vegetable Soup, existed way back there, 90 years ago, it cost 11 cents. 1933 radio. Can we imagine that in this world of high technology, that in 1933, the primary mode of media was the radio. And a brand new radio, a house for you to acquire a radio made you complete and able to know what was going on in the world other than reading in the newspaper. And it cost $52 to buy a radio. So, and then let's talk about some historical events in 1933. Of course, if you remember, unfortunately, it was a bleak time in our nation for several reasons. We were in what was considered the Great Depression in 1933, and that was one of the worst years for the Depression. But fortunately here in the state of Texas, we did not suffer quite as badly as some other areas of our country. And then we had the hope of a new president in 1933, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And I always remembered my mother and dad saying, they were born in the 20s, and mother and dad both always said, really the first president they ever remembered and knew was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And then he was our president for 12 years, longer than any other man has ever been in the United States or ever will be because of the rules that govern the presidency now. So he was very important. Also during this time, unfortunately, up on the plains in Oklahoma and in the West, we also were having one of the greatest droughts in 1933, and it was during the infamous Dust Bowls. They repealed Prohibition in 1933. I guess they decided they needed to have something to drink other than just tea. They started allowing 3.2 beer and wine sales when it was passed. The machine gun was demonstrated in 1933, firing 1,000 shots per minute. The Golden Gate Bridge, an iconic symbol and landmark in San Francisco that we all probably know and some fortunately have seen, its construction began in 1933. The Civil Works Administration created temporary construction jobs as part of the New Deal. You see, when Franklin Delano Roosevelt came into the White House, he started thinking of programs that could get us back to work. Albert Einstein, that we read and admired so much, immigrated to the United States from Germany in 1933. Wiley Post became the first person to fly around the world. Can you imagine that feat in 1933? And the first drive-in movie theater was opened in New Jersey in 1933. So there's a lot of things that happened those 90 years ago that shaped and formed our lives in the future. And it's just interesting for me to see how far we've become in these 90 years. To close, I'd also like to read another poem that I think is such a great poem in thinking about life. And some of you may be very familiar with this from your studies in high school or college. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowances for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools. Or watch the things you give light to, broken and stewed, and build them up with worn out tools. If you could make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. And you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve you your turn long after they are gone. And so hold on when there's nothing in you except the will that says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings and not lose the common touch, if neither foes nor learning friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son. Reverend Kitty. Thank you very much for your time today. And what an honor to speak to you today.
John is also very helpful for us at the Senior Center. Okay, so how's the food, everybody? Pretty good? Good. Everybody got food, right? All right. That's like my worst fear around something. So we probably have oodles and gobs. It's just, I don't know. Every time we have an event, that's my biggest fear. So let's see. Okay, so the next thing I have a special. You guys are probably wondering why all these beautiful people up against the wall that look so fancy and handsome today. They're going to come up here and do a little performance for y'all. This is the Sulphur Springs Varsity High School Choir, and they're going to come up here and they're going to do a couple songs for you, and then maybe something a little cute at the end. And they're being led by Miss Beth today. So let's welcome the Sulphur Springs High School Varsity Choir up here. Love the outfits. Love the outfits.
Hi, thank you so much for including us today. The students are very happy to perform, and we're excited to share this piece with you. The piece is called Omnia Sol, and it's written by a composer named Z. Randall Stroop. And it talks about how just kind of all of a sudden I grew up, but I didn't have any instruction manuals to grow up with. Adulthood is just all about figuring it out on your own. And there is a Latin part, Omnia Sol Temperat Absens in Remota, which is the sun still shines even when it's far away. And then I had to think about this in my head. Almame fideliter fidems meam nota, which is love me and stay faithful even though I am not here with you. And I thought that was a beautiful message to share with you guys today. This was one of our pieces for our UIL competition that we just had, and we got straight ones, we got a sweepstakes trophy. So we have this piece for you, and a very special, very jazzy, barbershop-y happy birthday for y'all.
Wow, how beautiful was that, you guys? That's that kind of music that makes the hair on your arm stand up just a little bit. That means it's good. No matter what kind of music it is. That was beautiful. Let's see. Okay, so we are going to start handing out. I have some special certificates so that everybody that RSVP'd back to me today, I made you a special certificate. You don't have to get up or anything. We're going to have some of our marketers bring it to you, and then Ms. Rochelle's going to take a picture of you with it and whatever family members that you have here. So, let's find this. All right, I'm not sure if Mr. Clyde Browning made it today. Mr. Browning, did you make it? He called me just a couple minutes ago and told me he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to make it. He was a little under the weather. So, Mr. Browning's not here. I'll send that to him, Rochelle. Well, I know this next lady's here because I see her every single day of the week at the Senior Center, and it's my friend, Ms. Mary Jane Busey over here, enjoying her taco. And over here with the feathered hat lady, Miss Sherry, her date. So, Miss Rochelle's going to come over so she can get your picture. So, Mary Jane, this is her second Clara Bridges banquet. Okay, and the next person I have on here is Mary Kate Burns. Would you raise your hand, Miss Mary Kate? No, Mary Kate Burns? Okay. Put that in the two-male pile. I think I met this young lady, Miss Dorothy Duncan. No? Dorothy Duncan? Oh, there you are. There she is. Sorry, guys. I thought I remembered meeting you a few minutes ago. Awesome. Thank you, Miss Dorothy. Thank you for joining us today. I talked to a lot of these people on the phone, especially if you're on meal day. So it's really, really nice to put a face to a name. So I'm glad about that. And I definitely know this next young lady is here today because Rochelle is her granddaughter. She's the picture lady running around here in the pink. Miss Evelyn, oh my goodness, her last name. Echeverrio, yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Miss Evelyn, over here at this table, I believe this is her first Clara Bridges banquet. We're very glad that you joined us today, Miss Evelyn. And I thank you for your wonderful granddaughter who helps me a ton at the Senior Center. The next young man I have on the list is Mr. Bob Griffin. Bob Griffin? No? Okay. I know the next gentleman on my list because he's my euchre buddy. And I know most of you guys are like, what is euchre? But I'm from the north, guys, and that's the north game, and there's probably only two other people in this building that know what it is, and that's my sister back there. So she can fill in and play euchre with us sometime, Howard. Every now and then you have to have 4 people to play, and there are only 4 people that know how to play. So if somebody doesn't come, then they ask me to sit in, and I'm happy to do that. I don't get to play all the games all the time, but if I'm needed, then it's part of my job description, right? So then I get to sit and play euchre with Howard. So I don't know if you guys know John Deschereaux, but he's one of my euchre partners too. So we have a hoot of a time with Howard and John together, especially. Thank you, Howard, for coming. He's also a very good cook. So whenever we have events, he's always bringing like super yummy recipes, like super. Next on my list, I have Miss Christine Sanders. That's right there she is, right over here. Got our little helper, got your certificate, she's on her way. Miss Christine, thank you so much for joining us today. It's a pleasure to meet you. everybody we have on our list here. Miss Shirley Sedemio. Miss Shirley, are you here? Is there a Shirley? Because I might have butchered her last name. No? Okay. We'll mail that to her. Let's see here. Next, I have Grace Blevins. Is Grace Blevins here? Okay. Aileen Swafford. There she is. Thank you, Miss Aileen, for being here today. Glad to have you. I was really excited to meet you guys because I don't get to see most of the 90 and above because they don't get out so much, but hopefully with some of these new activities, maybe it'll spark your interest, and if you're able, I would love for you to come and join us. Sometimes in our classes, we might not be pros at what we're doing, but we always have fun. Let's see, I have Mr. Don Brown. There he is, right there. Right in the center, honey. Mr. Don Brown, thank you so much for joining us today. We are very glad to have you. Next, we have Lynn Turner. Is Lynn Turner here today? Oh, okay, right over here, all the way at the end, honey. We're very glad to have you here today, Mr. Turner. Next, we have Grace Vaughn. Right here at the very end, or the beginning for you. It's so nice having kids as helpers, you guys, because they just jog everywhere. Like, here, I'll do it. I'm like, okay. That's another thing that we do at the Senior Center now is I've made like a decent relationship with the schoolers. Now I have an art class that comes and they like don't let me do tables or clean up or anything, like they do all of it. And then also North Hopkins Elementary, they come and put on dinners and stuff, and they're like, just get the drinks. And I'm like, okay. And they clean up, they come up with the games, I mean, and the seniors, they love having the kids there. It's fun, right, Sherry, when the kids are involved in stuff? Yeah. I gotta tell y'all, the first time that I agreed to do this was a 10-year-old boy named Connor. He goes to North Hopkins Elementary, and he just totally killed it. We got the little carts out, and he's rolling around like we're doing today, like giving everybody tea and stuff, you know, and he says, hey, do y'all want to hear a joke? And I thought, a 10-year-old boy is going to tell one of my seniors a joke. I just cringed for a minute. But it was, I don't remember what the joke was, but it was completely appropriate, and everybody giggled and laughed, and I was like, okay, here, you can tell a joke if you want. Let's see. We got Grace Vaughn, right? Okay. Ralphie Herod. Oh, right there. Oh, other side. Thank you so much for joining us today and your beautiful sparkly outfit. Miss Dawna is not here today. What about David Bryce? Oh, there you are, right over here. Mr. Bryce, thank you so much for being here with us today. Next we have Bobby King. Oh yeah, Sparkly, up here in the front, guys. We have Sparkly and Feathery at the same table. I mean, you can't miss this table up here, guys. Oh, Sherry remembers the joke the 10-year-old said. He asked what is a napping bull called? A bulldozer. The next person on my list is Miss Wanda McCleary. Miss Wanda here? so much for joining us today, Miss Wanda. We're very glad to have you. All right, Edgar Payne. All right there in the back, next to Miss Enola. Thank you so much, Mr. Payne. It's nice to put a face to a name. I've talked to you on the phone before. Joyce Purcell. I thought I met her this morning. Joyce Purcell. Thank you so much for joining us today. And Miss Lois Bolton. Right up here is the Bolton table, guys. I never met Miss Lois Bolton before, but I have talked to Nancy a couple of times. She's going to be helping with the pageant song. Pageant, let me put a bug in your ear. Pageant, guys. Please, it's going to be a blast. We're going to have a fancy tea the day before, you know, pinkies up, tea, the whole shebang. It's going to be a lot of fun. The next person on my list is Gloria Brewer. She's got her dog pound over here. Thank you very much for being here today. All right, Miss Naomi Jean Argenbright. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today, guys. Eva Ship. Miss Eva Ship, she's right up here in front of me, only in a pretty green top. Miss Eva, thank you so much for joining us today. Next we have Johnny McWilliams. Is Mr. McWilliams here with us today? Oh, right back there. Oh, he's by Doug. Just Doug. He introduced himself to me as Doug, and that was it. So that's what we're calling him, Doug. Thank you for being here. All right, I finally got to meet Miss Opal today. Miss Opal Young, where's she at? Miss Opal, I'm so glad that you're here. I can't wait to tell Amanda that I finally got to meet y'all. She's our meal a day lady. Whoa! I wish I would have known that earlier. I'll show you something here in a little bit, okay? Thank you for joining us today. If you didn't hear her, she's 100. Beautiful. All right, I have Miss Millie Cates. Millie Cates? No, Miss Millie? All right, what about Jean Campbell? Right here, Miss Jean Campbell, she's right over here. Thank you so much for joining us today, Miss Jean. Appreciate it. Okay, and I do have one more, but I don't know if I've seen her here today. Is Margie Dale Havecox here? Oh, there you are. You guys must have snuck in on me. Well, I'm going to give this one out because I had the pleasure of meeting these guys about a week after I took over the position at the senior center. They could have been more polite, welcoming, and nice to me. So they don't get to join in with a lot of our activities, but I know if I ever need anything, I can call and they would help me out. So I have Miss Margie's regular certificate, but I also have this beautiful 103rd birthday certificate from the governor. And here's the one from the president. So I'm going to go down there with Ms. Harvey. Andrew, please. You guys eat your cake for a second. Here y'all are. Snuck in on you. That's okay. Well, here it is. All right, so that is our last certificate of the day, and it's Margie Dale Hathcock's 103rd year birthday. So, thank you. I'm so glad that happened. I really, really am. Oh, that's okay. October the 15th is your actual birthday, guys. All right, one other thing I want to climb up these stairs. I hope you don't hear me huffing. If you haven't come over here and got your picture taken with your family, Miss Rochelle from Two Hearts and Hands Hospice set this really nice place up for us. So you can bring your certificate up, stand here with all your family and get yourself a nice picture. And if you'd like a copy of it, you can send me your email. Give me your email, and when Rochelle gets them to me, I'll email them to y'all. All right, so the last thing I want to do is I would like to ask everybody that helped me put this on today, if you guys would come up here. Tammy, Wendy, Chris, Libby, the kids, you guys that helped, the kids, Rochelle, Timothy, Evan, Kathy. Come on, Kathy. You guys, drag her up here. My sister-in-law, Wendy. Come on up here, guys. Who did I forget? Tammy, Wendy, Michelle, Kathy. Oh yeah, Leslie. Leslie left for the day.
Hey, Jeffrey.
Come up here with me. Oh yeah, and my husband. Sorry, honey. Sorry. I really didn't forget. This year's our 35th wedding anniversary, so he stuck with me. So, and he was a very good helper today. I was sitting over there on the steps doing this crowd thing. You know, when you look at somebody you love doing something so sweet, like, look at him push that cart around, handing out food. He's a John Deere mechanic, so this is not really his forte. So that just shows you that he's a good husband, that he just does stuff to help his wife. So anyway, yes, thank you. I want to get a nice picture of this. I'll have to get your picture. Oh. I don't care. I just wanted the people. I'm just going to run down real quick because they were back there cooking earlier. We got Chris from Walmart Insurance Services. city for 87 years, and then now she works for free, still with the city. So Kathy does, if we need anything at the senior center, whether it's I need something or Amanda needs something at meal day, Kathy's there. Always. She saved us so many times, so we appreciate that. My sister-in-law, Wendy, took off today to come help me. You guys might recognize her. She works here in the city. And my sister, I guess you guys might not be able to tell this is my sister. She came from Arkansas this morning. She's the one that made all that rice for y'all. And my youngest right here, Evan. A lot of you guys that do come to the senior center probably recognize Evan. Very big help for me. My son, Timothy, he also very big help today. And you might recognize him if you order pizza from Pizza Inn because he might have brought it to you. So tip him good, you guys. And my husband, Jeff, hiding over here. Come here, ladies. My husband, Jeff, you ever need John Deere? Go by John Deere. And what was your name, honey? Emma. And Miss Emma and Sutton. They were the girls that were running around helping us today. So we want to thank everybody that's been on this class. All right, I'm going to stop the app now so you guys can visit, but I do have pageant applications up here and calendars, volunteer sheets. If you have any questions, holler at me. If you have any questions for any of the marketers about hospice or home health or Medicare, Chris, so just holler at somebody. And I hope that everybody had a fun time because I did. And it was nice to have my family all here together to do this. So, and I'm glad I got to meet a lot of y'all. So I hope to see you at the senior center.